Welcome back to North Dakota Today. Big week here because the Bison obviously are kicking off on Saturday. So what we want to do all week is give you some tips and some tricks for your tailgating parties at home. You can't tailgate at the Fargo Dome this year, but you can definitely do it at home. So joining us now, we got our good friend Tim from the wonderful Cashwise Foods. Tim, great to have you with us. Welcome back to NDT, man.
Hey, Chris. Good to see you.
So kind of a little bit different this year, but it's got to be kind of nice for you guys having everybody at home, making up their own concoction. So how are you going to make me my hero of my neighborhood with some of these great grilling ideas?
Well, with tailgating, one of my favorites anyway is Boston butt roast. It's a pork shoulder, and what we did is we started smoking this overnight. So we smoked it for 10 hours. And on that pork shoulder, what we did is we kind of temped it out a little bit, let it warm up, not quite to room temperature, but let it warm up some. We have a line of Four Brothers spices that we use. So we put our rib rub on that. And once that got on there, it kind of caramelized a little bit before it went on the smoker. We got it on the smoker last night. And after we had it on there for 10 hours, we got it up to 195 degrees. Then we covered it in a pan with foil and then rested it for another 4 hours. So what that does is it kind of breaks down all the membranes and helps that fat just dissolve into the meat. And after 4 hours, what we did is we shredded that pork shoulder, and this is what you get. Just gorgeous. Really tender, juicy. What we have it on is our Hawaiian sweet roll dollar buns from Four Brothers. And the pork with the sweet is a really popular pairing. And then we've topped it off with our Four Brothers barbecue sauces. And then always to make it easy, out tailgating, you don't want to spend too much time on the prep. You've already smoked that overnight, which is pretty low maintenance. You get it in the smoker and just kind of let it go, monitor the temp. So it hovers at about that 225 degrees. Make sure it's smoking plenty. Then stop back to our deli for our homestyle coleslaw. It's a perfect complement to that pulled pork sandwich out tailgating.
I think the big question is for people, maybe that aren't grill masters like yourself. I mean, how do you make this so it's foolproof and I can get it done and it tastes great for everybody?
It's actually one of the easiest things you can do. You don't necessarily need to do it in a smoker, but it really brings out some more flavor. We have the charcoal smoker back here, and all we did is we rubbed that pork shoulder so it's like a big roast, and you just get it nice and coated with that rub and let that set out for, I don't know, an hour, 45 minutes, somewhere in there. And then it'll kind of get a little bit of a layer on there, and it just goes right on the smoker. We used temp gauge to keep an eye on things. So once we reached that 170 degrees, then we started monitoring a little bit more. Kept an eye on the smoker just to make sure that we were getting enough smoke going. And that 225 degrees is kind of the perfect temp so that the meats absorb the smoke. So what you get is this nice bark. And as we shredded up this shoulder, you get a little bit of that bark in there, and you want that for the bite in the sandwich, just to give it that little extra flair. If you overcook them, which if you use a temp gauge, you won't do, it just turns kind of mushy, where this still has some texture to it. You get a nice bite. And that bone, for instance, should just pull right out of that shoulder.
Wow. Tim, that looks beautiful. Real quickly, if you don't mind, we've got about 20 seconds left. How can people come pick up some great stuff from your Cashwise locations?
Yeah, just stop by. This pork shoulder is actually on sale for 98 cents a pound. So just stop back to our meat department. You can talk to our guys back there too. They can give you cooking hints on that. But we have lots of choices for tailgating this week for bison. So stop in and our guys will be happy to help you out.
Tim, great stuff. Looks delicious. I hope we see some of that back in the studio. And be sure and stay with us. We got a lot more coming up right here on North Dakota Today.